we're going to go through the agenda, then we'll go over, I am actually going to be leading an NXT discussion, and, feel free to jump in whenever you guys have questions.
Hi, this is Frank.
Hi. Hey, Frank.
All right. Well, I'll let you take it from here, Frank. If you want to review the agenda, I'll populate the screen.
Sure. Yeah. Well, welcome everybody. Yeah, we're going to do a quick. So first, thanks to Marcy and Rona, we have a new kind of format for this these cohort meetings that are happening, and so this is kind of the first time that we're using this. But basically, we're going to start by doing an agenda review, which we're doing now, and then talking about some group norms, and then do a round of introductions. And we have Krista is going to do an overview of Razor's Edge NXT, which they have implemented in Pittsburgh, and just talk about some of the things that they've learned and kind of what they've found as they've done that. And we'll have a group conversation, and that also includes, we're also going to talk about just kind of the next cohort meeting and some other things that are coming up Woodmark-wise. And then we'll wrap up, right? Okay. Yeah, so group norms, I think, Marcy, you have these, right, as, individual. A lot of these are pretty, pretty straightforward, and, treating each other with respect. What's said on the call stays on the call. Be genuine about your challenges. Yeah, we're all here really to help each other, so that's an important thing to do. Listen first to understand. Be fully present and resist multitasking, which I know is a real challenge, but that's an important thing to do. And then share airtime. We want to hear from everyone. Another one should be to silence your phones. So, so that was my phone in the background, so I apologize for that. And I'm not sure why that rang anyway, but anyway, so celebrating one another's successes. Start each comment with your name and hospital. Yeah, it's really important because it's always good to know where everyone is coming from and who you are. Mute yourself, so you can reduce noise on the call. If you need to step away, this is an important one. A lot of us are on systems that, when you put somebody on hold, hold music plays. So if you do have to step away from your phone, please mute instead of putting us on hold. Okay, and then so let's go ahead and do a round of introductions. And I can start us off. I'm Frank Dean, Children's Hospital Colorado Foundation. One place I want to visit is a big place, but I've never been to Asia, so somewhere in Asia would be what I would say for that.
I'll go next. This is Krista Lippert. So as you guys know, I'm the other co-chair along with Frank. I'm from Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh Foundation. One place I'd like to visit, I'd say Alaska. Seems like, there's a lot of outdoorsy stuff. It seems like a pretty cool place.
So Krista and Frank, this is Marcy at Woodmark. If you don't mind, I'll go down the list of participants that I can see on my screen and
that'd
just
be
call
great.
people out. All right. So the first person I see is S. Field.
Hi, this is Sean Field, Chalk Children's Foundation, Orange County. I guess I want to go to Croatia because that's where my grandfather was born.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. How about David Logan?
Well, I guess Washington, D.C. somewhere I'd like to go back to. I was 7 when I went there.
What hospital are you calling in from, David?
So I'm at Children's Mercy in Kansas City.
Oh, perfect. Great. Thank you. How about David Mark?
Hi, it's David from BC Children's Hospital, Foundation in Vancouver, Canada. And I would like to visit also in Asia, but more specifically Thailand.
Fantastic. All right. How about Kathy Spieth?
Hi, I'm Kathy Spieth, and I'm from Riley Children's Hospital or Foundation in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I want to go to Italy.
All right. How about William S.L.?
So do you feel like we done?
Oh. So I don't think you're on mute. If you're able to speak, William? Or Williams, someone with the last name Williams?
Oh, Williams?
Yeah, Williams, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I didn't hear the question because I just got in. So
where is, so what's your, what hospital are you at? And what's your first name?
Philadelphia. Lisa, Children's Hospital, Philadelphia.
And where is one place you would like to visit?
Hawaii.
Fantastic, great, thank you. How about Isaac Comer?
Hi, yeah, this is Isaac, Kansas City, Missouri, Children's Mercy Hospital. Yeah, I guess within the States, I guess I'd like to go back to Seattle, Washington again. Outside of the States, I'd have to think about it longer.
If you make it to Seattle, come visit us at Woodmark.
Cool, yeah.
All right, how about Arno Bangert? Arno, are you there?
Oh, hello there. Sorry, I just popped in. Hi there. Yeah, so Arno Bangert, I'm with the BC Children's Hospital in Vancouver, Canada. And I'm not sure if anyone else from our shop was on the call yet. I'm the Director of Research and Prospect Management, so part of my role is in analytics, and the whole issue of moving to a cloud-based system is definitely something that we're grappling with. I'm not the decision maker on this. My colleague David Mark is. I'm not sure if he's going to be on the call, but he's leading the charge on this. So I'll definitely be reporting back on anything I learn.
He is indeed on the call, Arno.
Is he? Hello, David.
Yep.
Hi, Arno.
All right. Arno, can you tell us what a place you want to visit?
A place I want to visit? A place I want to visit is, I think Bali's on my list.
Perfect. All right, thank you. How about Curdy?
Curdy, this is Cincinnati. I'm from Cincinnati Children's Hospital Foundation. One place I would like to visit is UK, London.
All right, great. Thank you, Curdy. How about Aubrey M?
Hello, I'm Aubrey McQueen. I'm with Texas Children's Hospital, and the place I would like to visit is Ireland.
Thank you. All right, how about Jay Bailey?
This is Jenny Bailey. I'm with the Lucille Packard Foundation for Children's Health. We're in Palo Alto, California, and one place that I would like to visit that's still on my list is the Smithsonian back in Washington.
Oh, great. I think I saw Al Nazadis on the line.
Yes, you did. This is Al Nassidis, the Kids Foundation in Toronto, and place to visit. All the ones so far have been very tempting, but I'm going to go with Australia.
Great, thanks, Al. How about S Tutor, or I think it's S Tutor. They might not be connected to audio just yet. How about Jeff Johnson?
Yeah, this is Jeff. I'm from St. Louis Children's Hospital. I'm the Director of Operations here. And I guess I would say Australia. I wanted to visit that since college and haven't had a chance to do that yet.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Welcome. Scott Eden.
Hello, this is Scott Eden. I'm from in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I'm with the Alberta Children's Hospital. And one of my goals is to spend time logging a lot of miles and actually driving the back roads of pretty much all the states. And I'm about 22 states into it now so far. So.
Oh, fantastic. Exciting. All right, how about P. Melody?
Pam Milady with Riley Children's Hospital, Riley Children's Hospital Foundation. And a place that I want to go to, actually getting to go next year, is I'm going to go to a Lobster Fest in Maine.
Oh, delicious. All right, thank you. M. Houston.
Hi, I'm Max Houston. I'm from Children's National in Washington, D.C. So if those of you who wanted to come to Washington, D.C. get the chance, come say hi. And I'd like to visit Rio de Janeiro. I also have my colleague, Bart Villat, on the line, but he doesn't have a microphone, so he won't be able to say hi.
All right, we'll tell him we said hi. All right, and how about Charles?
Hi, I'm Charles Buchanan with Alberta Children's Hospital here in Calgary, Canada. And where I'd like to visit is Scotland for Scotch tasting and golf.
Oh, nice. Great. Thanks, Charles. And then I have someone on the line that just comes up as the letter B. If that might be you, you can chime in. All right. How about L. Roland?
Hey, this is Lynn Rowland with Children's National in DC with Max and Bart. I think Paris, France would be the place that I would want to visit.
Fantastic. All right. Someone in the 314 area code? All right. I think we're running to the end of the list. Melissa, have you introduced yourself yet?
Nope, not yet. This is Melissa Hearn from Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And one place I'd like to visit is New Orleans, Louisiana.
Fantastic. Is there anyone else on the line that has not had the opportunity to introduce themselves?
Hi, this is Shelby Tudor with Children's Hospital Los Angeles.
Hi, Shelby. Where would you like to visit?
I want to go to the Grand Canyon.
Fantastic. All right. Anyone else on the line that needs to introduce themselves? So just so you know, Marcy Paradis, that's me at the Woodmark Group, is on the line, and Rana Pryor is also on the line. And we are going to turn it over to, back over to Krista and Frank to get things started. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much. So as we talked about in the agenda, I was going to share a little bit of information about Razor's Edge NXT. I know so much of the Woodmark Group, it's not necessarily an option for people to use, but I know, Frank, you wanted to kick us off with a poll to see who...
Yeah. Marcy, is that possible to do with Zoom?
Yes. Yes, I actually have it set up.
Awesome.
So
great, thank you.
Let me pull it up here. All right, so everyone should see the poll on their screen. And if you can click one of the three options, that would be great.
And the question is, are you using Razor's Edge NXT? And if not, are you planning to use it? So if you're not online and you're just joining us by phone, you can chat your answer. Either yes, we are using it, no, we're not using it, and no, but we are planning to use it in the future. Oh, except you can't chat if you're on the phone. What am I thinking? So if you're only on the phone and you just want to share your answers verbally, please do.
This is Jenny with Packard Foundation, and I'm not sure how to answer. It's one of those things we are, currently looking at options of where we might migrate, but there are no decisions made.
So basically you're considering it. Is that fair?
It would be one of the items that we would consider.
Sure. Okay, great. Thanks, Jenny. We won't pin you down.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So Frank and Krista, can you both see the results here?
I'm not sure
actually,
I can.
nope.
You have to end the poll to share the results.
Okay, hold on here. Thank you. All right, share results here.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yep.
There we go. All right.
So it looks like 5% are using it, and then 47% are not, or might plan to use it in the future.
That's awesome. So we've got about half the group are either using it
Yeah.
or thinking about it in the future. So that's great.
Yeah, that's great. Great. That helps us get an idea of, you know, the user base we have here in our cohort. I think, like I said at the beginning, we're in a weird niche where, you know, everyone's technology is so different. So I want to do NXT knowing that not everyone uses it. And we did a Salesforce cloud-based demo last time. So we'll have to think about something else next time. And we're open to suggestions of, you know, something that applies to everyone. But so let me jump into it. So we, at Pittsburgh, we adopted NXT about 3 years ago. Prior to that, we were self-hosted, so on-premise, and we decided to take the leap to be a Blackbaud hosted client. That was a big decision for us because we had a lot of, being self-hosted, we found out we had a lot of quirks in our database, and every time we would be on support with Blackbaud, they would always say, well, you're self-hosted, so we can't solve that for you. So becoming a Blackbaud hosted environment was a big decision for us, and we were excited to do it. And honestly, the transition in that process was not painful at all. We had a couple of days of downtime. I think we scheduled 3 days, but we ended up only needing 1. And prior to the downtime, we sent a backup of our database. They uploaded it into their server, and then we did some testing to make sure the information in the new database was accurate. And honestly had no issues there at all. We were shocked, but it went really well. So once we did that, we were moving forward with using NXT. We had it turned on, but we didn't share that with the staff. We weren't going to have staff jump right into it until we figured out all the quirks of the system and made sure that the back-end users were comfortable using it before we rolled it out to the fundraisers. So probably like 3 months in, we changed that and we introduced it to the staff, and they were all very, very excited about using it. You know, I'm sure you're all familiar with NXT, but it's cloud-based. It allows you to easily manage your portfolio when you're off-site. You can use your mobile device. You can add actions on the fly. You can click on someone's record and call them. You know, all of these things that everyone always wanted is now at their fingertips and at their disposal. We did have, when we first made the switch, the really only pain point we had was we had some custom fields in Razor's Edge that did not translate to NXT. So an example of that is in our proposals, we had renamed some of the proposal fields, and those renaming characters did not carry over to NXT, and NXT reverted to the original naming convention. So it's a little odd, and it was something that we had to work through. Honestly, we just had to change how we were looking at proposals in some ways and conform to the original way and change some of our reporting. But it was a minor thing that we worked through. We changed our reporting, and, you know, we made it work for us. And then, you know, I think the biggest thing for us that has made NXT successful is it's been like a top-down push within the foundation. So all of the managers are real gung-ho about it and are pushing folks to use the system. And then we're running a lot of reports from Classic to show, you know, proposals in action. So that way it requires folks to get in there and actually use the system and manage their portfolio in there. And once they understand the importance of it and see it, they're really excited about it. One of the challenges we've had with it, though, is that, you know, some things still at this point, even 3 years in, are not in NXT. That's basically how Blackbaud has been building it out. They have been slowly adding features. It started out being just geared towards major gift officers, and they're slowly but surely adding more pieces in. So still at this point, you cannot manage event records in there at all. So our whole entire events team still cannot use NXT, and all the bulk of their work is done in Classic, which is unfortunate, but it is something on the roadmap for Blackbaud. And also, I'm actually gonna take the screen. How do I do that, Marcy? Do I request
trying to
remote
share?
control? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There you go.
Can everyone see my NXT?
I cannot.
Let's see here.
Oh, I wonder if, let me stop my share.
Oh, I see it now. How about now?
I cannot. Can anyone else see it?
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
All right, Rana, do you
Yeah.
know?
Okay, try now, Krista.
Okay. Okay.
There we go. Yay.
Good. Great. So once you're in NXT, this is one of our fundraisers work centers. So really it's just her portfolio and it's all of her prospects that are in this portfolio, and it allows her to easily manage her prospects. So in the front screen, it shows you who needs attention, and Blackbaud does a great job to add these tags to the record to bring them to the forefront. And everywhere you go, it's easy to add an action. And then when you scroll down, you can easily see your portfolio, your actions, your gifts, they changed the word from proposal to opportunity, but all of that's right in the forefront for you. And in Classic before, like a lot of this information would have to be in a bunch of different reports, or we would attempt to use a dashboard, and it just wasn't the best way to manage it. So now, all these things you can click into to find more information, or you could go, click right on the constituent record and it'll pop up for you. It's all really easy to manage. Well, I don't know why it's not loading, but that's beside the point. Oh, there it goes. The other great thing, there's some great automatic reports that are built into the system called Analyze. The one I have shown up now is one of our fundraisers, Nicole. These are all the active proposals in Razor's Edge, and it really just takes them and summarizes them for her. So it says how many she has, how much she's asked, how much expected, funded, and then there's other summary reports that are really great. The one great thing that we couldn't do before was projection accuracy, the average difference, average time it took to close, all that kind of stuff is stuff that we were not able to do with Classic easily. I mean, we could certainly have pulled reports and, done some magic outside of Razor's Edge, but it would have taken a long way for us to get there. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen it, but we're really happy with it. The only thing that's a little quirk of it is the media tab. So if you add something in Classic, it does go up to NXT, but if you add something in NXT, it does not go down to Classic. And they're not going to fix that. They actually talked about it last year at Blackbaud. It's just, a function because RE Classic is so old that they have no intentions of ever building the code to fix that issue. So it's just one of those things you have to work through. And I'm sure as they build up NXT, there will be more situations like that, but they're really pushing everyone to use just NXT. So I imagine that the Classic version will eventually fade in the past. But so yeah, that's that. And we wanted to, let me see if I can switch back now. I think I stopped sharing.
Okay, yep. And I will go back and share.
Sorry, my dogs are barking.
That's okay. All right. There we go.
So I think we had some, open questions that we had for folks, and we wanted everyone to be in the conversation. But I wanted to see people that are using NXT, how you're managing two different databases. I know it's a challenge for us, and some of our fundraisers are disappointed that you have to do certain things in one database versus the other. And in addition to that, how are you getting non-users excited about using NXT? The bulk of our fundraisers are in and are excited, but we still have a handful that want nothing to do with it. So I'm interested to see how you guys manage that. And it doesn't have to be just NXT. It could be any cloud-based system you're using. But yeah, let us know. Don't all jump in at once.
So, Krista, this is Rana at Woodmark. Actually, can I ask you a question about your experience?
Absolutely.
You talked about how your backend users had about 3 months to learn it or make some modifications before they introduced it to the frontline fundraisers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what was that process when you introduced it to them? Did they go through some sort of training or orientation, or what was that like?
Yeah, I can absolutely talk through that. So the training was done. We required every fundraiser to participate in one of 2 group trainings. So we had our IT liaison manage that, and she taught everyone each piece of NXT. And then from there, I lead all the training. So I go to our all staff meetings each month, and I show, a tip for the system. Like I was just at our staff meeting yesterday, and I showed the mapping feature again. I also, in addition to that, share tips in our Foundation Friday, which we send every Friday, just to help people, things I'm seeing that, constant issues. If someone's missing adding a solicitor because, it's not clear how to do that, then I can share that in a Foundation Friday to make sure people are doing that piece. In addition to that, when new hires start, we do one-on-one training, and then we always follow up, with those folks to make sure they're comfortable in the system. So, but yeah, that's it.
Great. Thank you.
Krista, this is Jenny Bailey with Packer Foundation. So
yeah.
I'm interested, was this a decision by your foundation to maintain 2 separate databases, or is this part of NXT that offers this option to you?
So do you mean Classic versus NXT?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's just how it is. That's how the product's offered. So you have to have Classic Razor's Edge in order to get NXT, and you do still manage the 2. The 2 talk to each other, so any gifts you're putting in Classic go up to NXT and vice versa, which is great. There is some lag time in some situations, but most of it is pretty instantaneous. So we made the decision that all fundraisers, other than the events folks, it's a requirement that they learn NXT first, and we push them towards that. And then all the back end people are the ones that are using Classic in addition to the events team. Does that help?
So, one follow-up question. So is NXT just kind of overlay on Classic? Is that what's going on?
Kind of. Yes, it's web-based. So in addition, for Classic, you're going to the Citrix Receiver website to log in, and then NXT, you go to blackbaud.com, and it's all connected to blackbaud.com. So it's all like a cloud-based solution.
Got it.
But yeah, it is essentially an overlay. It takes all of the information in Classic and honestly just makes it prettier and easier to manage.
Great, thanks.
Absolutely.
Krista, this is David from BC Children's Hospital Foundation.
Hi.
Hi. We currently self-hosted, and our biggest fear, I guess, is going to the cloud, and then the fear is losing connection to our backend database, our SQL database, which we've been able to enjoy accessing and using Crystal reports that tap directly in. So how did you get around that, or did you have a setup similar to that? And
so we didn't do a lot of back-end SQL work. I mean, we do have a few Crystal reports from Razor's Edge, but we don't have a lot of outside connections. So anything that we do is, within the Blackbaud environment, or we're exporting it and we're building in Excel. I mean, we're not very sophisticated in the back end in that way. So, that wasn't an issue for us. But I know more and more Blackbaud is adding more partners that are able to access their back end through the firewall and that kind of stuff. So if there's something you work with, that you're afraid of losing, they might be able to have that connection. Like, for example, Omatic, like that's it, you know, an obvious partner for them. So we didn't lose any of that. You know, we're still able to use that and import using that software.
Okay. And how do you find the speed now that you're cloud-based? I've heard from other NXT users locally that running queries is an issue. It could take upwards of 15 to 20 minutes to complete a query. And I guess related to that is how big your database is.
Yeah, so our database is about, I think, upwards of 250,000 constituents, probably more than that at this point. But it really isn't slow, in my opinion. I work off-site a lot, so, you know, I deal with slowness from working off-site, from like connecting to our work network. So, you know, that slows me down a bit. But overall, I don't see a problem with that. There are times where like the connection lags or there's clearly, you know, some type of issue on the Blackbaud server, but it's typically resolved pretty quickly anytime there's an issue. I think once customers make them aware, they work in that that server and they rectify it pretty quick.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Krista. How frequent is the maintenance and outage since when you are hosted with them?
I'm sorry, what was that? How frequent does the maintenance of what?
Maintenance and outage does I see a lot of emails from Blackbaud that maintenance is happening. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so they do it all overnight. So none of the downtime and I don't even know if they do downtime, but when they're maintenance emails, they're typically like from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So none of the maintenance that they're doing has ever affected our work. You know, it may affect a donor that's in another time zone for our website, but we've had no issue with that at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Are there any NXT users out there that can help to answer the two questions that we've posed? Like how or not even necessarily NXT, but how you're dealing with two different databases, how you're dealing with getting people excited to use it?
Kathy Speed from Riley Children's Foundation. And we use Luminant CRM, and then we use a product called Advisor with it that kind of does a lot of the same things that look like NXT does. And we're doing a lot of the same things you mentioned. We did have a vice president who was using the Advisor during one-on-one meetings, and his team would use Advisor more than any other because they knew the boss was looking at it. So now we have a new person, and so we're going to be training that person. And we have already told them, your team used this the best because it was used in their one-on-ones. So that's the only other thing I can say is get the supervisors to use it in one-on-one meetings, and they will automatically start logging into that product then. And
absolutely, yeah. We tell everyone there's no reason, if you're running a list in NXT, there is no reason to export it if you're just going to continue to do your work in NXT. Like, I would rather see someone in a meeting just opening the database than having, exporting and printing it out, which is just unnecessary at this point.
Hey, Chris, this is Frank. One of the things, we don't use NXT, but one of the things that we found through our CRM project that we kept going post-project, but that really helped get people excited, was during the project we put together a cross-functional team that basically represented all the different areas. So we had people from events and from corporate giving and our major gift officers, and we basically had representatives from each of those different areas. And then they've really now serve as champions. So we find a lot of times they're the ones who are kind of going back to their colleagues and getting them excited about something that they've learned through discussions with other people on the who are part of that sort of committee or project team. And that's been a very effective. It was so effective during the project that we basically have kept it going, where that group meets bi-weekly. They bring forward suggestions. They also just share a lot of ideas about how they're using CRM.
That's great, Frank. What a great suggestion. Anyone else want to share? Guessing not. Okay, so I guess we can move on then.
Yeah, thanks, Krista, for doing that. That was
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome, and that's definitely the deepest I've seen NXT. So
great.
Yeah, we had a couple of discussion topics just kind of looking forward. The first was the Blackbaud conference, and I think were we going to do a poll on this, or was this more?
No, it's sort of just to gauge if
yeah.
anyone's going. I'm thinking maybe we could post something in the exchange to try to gather everyone. Maybe do a meetup sometime during the conference if you're going. But is anyone on the line going to be attending?
I am going to Cincinnati Children's.
Great.
Children's National, I'm going to be there.
PC Children's Hospital Foundation, I'm not going to be there, but we are sending a representative from the donor services area.
Great.
And Krista, you're going?
I am going, yes. I'll be attending.
Okay, awesome.
So I'm happy to organize, some type of meetup there. Marcy, Rona, I don't know if you have a suggestion for how should I post the WE discussion about it to see, to keep track of it? Or do you think there's a better way?
Yeah, I actually think that's the best way because then we can capture some people who aren't on this call as well.
Oh, of course.
So
will do.
Okay, anyone else going to the Blackbaud conference? Okay, so we can move on to future topics. And so this is just really just meant to be kind of top of mind. Are there things that are kind of going on in your shop, or that you've heard about other folks are doing that you might want to learn more about, so that we can start to plan out some future calls and things like that? Does anyone have any suggestions or thoughts about that?
This is Jenny with Packard Foundation. One of the items we're going to be looking at this year is coming up with an electronic gift transmittal form and also a software program to facilitate the routing of that for review and signature. So I'd be interested if anybody's already done this and what programs they're using.
So Jenny, when you're describing a gift transmittal form, you mean something that like an electronic process, or an electronic process to basically gather information about a gift so that it can be processed? Okay.
Well, not only processed, but to be routed for review and basically approved before it comes to us.
Yeah, well, this is Frank, and we are actually in the process of doing something very, very much along those lines. So yeah, I'd be happy to, as we get a little further along. It's kind of tied into right now. Gift processing does our deposits, and we're going to change that so that finance and accounting does deposits, and then basically kind of turn the system on its head, where finance and accounting will receive the gifts, kind of do the imaging of them, and then make them available to field staff so that then they can electronically provide information to gift processing to get it processed. And part of that will also include sort of an approval process for like where the prospect manager has to kind of sign off on the where the gift has been designated and what appeal is being used and that kind of thing, and who's being recognized for the gift.
Yeah, that's exactly the type of info I'm looking for.
Yeah. No, I'd be have either myself or one of my colleagues that are working on that project here. It'll probably be a few months. I mean, but it might be something for when we get later into the. I think we have meetings coming up in January and then in March. Maybe by the March meeting, we'll have that kind of done enough where we could really talk about it.
That would be great.
This is Jeff from St. Louis. In that same vein, I'm wondering, are any of our counterpart foundations doing the similar type of process with a donor? So, you know, like a program like DocuSign that a lot of the mortgage companies use. So it's an electronic signature that you could actually email, you know, the document to the donor. The donor would sign it electronically and return it to you, as opposed to the paper copy that takes, you know, 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get back.
Yeah, that's part of the piece that we're also looking at the Packard Foundation, and DocuSign is one of the programs that we'll be evaluating.
Okay, if that could be included in a future topic, that'd be great.
This is Krista, and I know that we're in the process of, I just think we vetoed DocuSign because we need to look at the one that UPMC, our, you know, who we report up through, uses. But yeah, I'd be interested in learning that as well.
Hi, this is Max from Children's National in Washington, D.C. I don't know if this is anywhere near a full topic, but it's something we've been interested in, and it is best practices and what everyone's doing concerning tracking different social media, Twitter handles, and things like that within the Razor's Edge or within database systems in general.
Great, thanks, Max. We'll add that to the list.
All right, is there anyone else on the line that wants to add an idea for a future topic before we move on?
This is Kathy Spieth from Riley Children's Foundation. And one thing we're getting ready to get started on is a technology audit, because we've had a lot of departments come to us and say, oh, we hear this is wonderful, and so we want to use it and all of that. And so rather than letting everyone just kind of go do their own thing, we said, let's do one large technology audit and let's kind of make sure things that we're taking on all work together in that. And I'm curious, has anybody else done any type of technology audits of their organizations?
So by technology audit, do you mean kind of understanding what people are using currently?
Well, a lot of people have their wish list of things they've seen other organizations using and would like to be introduced to Riley. But there's also, you know, we've had our database for 5 years. We kind of want to evaluate, are we on the best database for what our needs are? What do we anticipate our future needs to be? Just so it's kind of looking at databases and like Team Razor, and just kind of, we're just kind of throwing it all out there. We're going to put a project team together. It'll be a cross-functional team, and really just evaluate, do we have the best products to do what we need to do?
Right, so it sounds like a combination of kind of requirements gathering, but also kind of looking at what people either know or perceive to be kind of best practices that they've heard from others.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Other topics that...
Hi, this is Isaac, Children's Mercy Hospital, Kansas City. Maybe either one or two kind of closely overlapping topics: GDPR compliance and/or using the new consent coding in Razor's Edge.
Well, that's a great one. I'm interested in the consent piece as well.
Yeah, that is a great one.
Is anyone actively using the consent piece?
Mrs. Isaac again. We're not yet, but we're looking into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing. This is Frank. We're doing we're calling it donor journey or supporter journey project, and part of that will likely be kind of defining much more advanced sort of preferences for people. So we give them people more options to opt in and out of things that they want, and we may well leverage some of the features that Blackbaud's been adding. This, of course, to CRM for us, but they've added a lot of those same kind of consent coding things. So we may be exploring that sometime in 2019.
Great.
Yeah, as a corollary to this, are there projects that any of you have going on that you feel like might be a good topic in the future to bring forward to the group?
Hi, this is David from BC Children's Hospital Foundation. Well, we're currently implementing a new online donation processing system, and it's ARTES by FrontStream. It's not a Blackbaud product, so we're at the very early stages of this. But we just completed a detailed review and RFP that did involve considering Team Razor and Luminate. Not sure if anybody'd be interested in hearing about ARTES and what they have to offer.
Yeah, I think that could be a really good topic.
Yeah.
That's always a. I mean, I think it's a great learning opportunity, not only about the product, but also just about what process you used, to kind of select that product, what their considerations were, and then to talk about kind of implementation and how it's gone and that sort of thing. So. Yeah. That could be a really good one.
Okay.
What's your timeline for that, David?
It keeps changing. We were supposed to launch. Well, in fact, we were supposed to launch a new website that didn't involve a new online donation processing system. We were supposed to do that about 2 years ago. I think it's coming up on 2 years. And it took a turn because they weren't able to do what we wanted it to do. So we've now reduced the scope and are looking to salvage, I guess, with the work that's been done, along with integrating that with our selected platform. So back to the question about timeline. It was supposed to be November, and now it's been revised to February of next year.
Mm-hmm. Before our ARTES would go live.
Yeah, we'll go live.
Yeah.
We're currently working madly to get certain pages and certain events up and running, and do a full-on test, and getting the payment side completed, and and just trying to integrate all the various components and work with all a variety of teams here that have a vested interest in this new tool.
Okay, great. Anyone else have any projects kind of in progress that the group might benefit from learning more about? Okay. I think we could probably move on then to looking at, I think the next thing is Woodmark has announcements, right? Rona, do you want to take this?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is Rana at Woodmark, and we just wanted to put it on your radar that the new We platform is launching this month. So you'll be getting an email inviting you to register, and we are excited to hear what you think about it, especially this group who understands what it's like to launch new software to a group of constituents who aren't necessarily clamoring for it, but we're really excited. This new platform is it's got a simple interface. It's very intuitive, and so we're hopeful that we've laid it out in a way that you can get in, get what you need, and get back out. And I think the best part, from my perspective, from what we heard from people, what they want is you can actually interact with the platform without going into it. You can interact with it through your inbox. So when there's a new discussion post or a new library item, you can get notified either in the moment or daily, and you can respond to that and post things in response to that straight from Outlook without ever logging in. So be on the lookout for an email from us. We'll also let your senior associates know to let your whole team know and spread the word among your colleagues. And we're excited to take this project that's been in process for several months now and make it a reality. So if you have any questions, you can be in touch with me. Otherwise, you'll get an email in your inbox from us probably late next week. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that. And yeah, next call. So yeah, so mark your calendars, and I think Marcy, if you haven't already, you'll send out invites for these two, right?
Actually, Frank, with the new We platform, all of that will be on We, and people will be able to add each of these meetings to their calendar directly from the We platform.
Awesome.
So we're going to be moving away from sending those Outlook invites.
Yeah, it's just a single click in We.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a good reminder why it's so important to sign up for We. So so we'll look for that invite and and if everyone can get signed up, that'd be great, so that you can keep on track of these next calls. So that's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, and if there is anything you guys think of that, you're clamoring to hear about or you want to tell us about, reach out to Frank or I, and we're happy to put it in an upcoming call.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
all right.
Any last? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, any last minute questions? Doesn't seem like it.
Any last comments? Any questions? All right, I think we could wrap it up.
Great. Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Great
Krista and
call.
Frank.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for being on the call.
Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye now.